Shiny Badge Quest, a term that has fueled shiny hunters across the community for generations. With the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there have been a lot of new changes, but mainly the addition of two new storylines along with traditional Pokemon League. These two storylines are called Operation Starfall and the Path of Legends, and you may be wondering, why are you telling me this? I thought this was a shiny hunting video, not a storyline one. Now, that may be true, but with the addition of these two new storylines, there are 10 new things for the player to do, each rewarding you with a badge on your player card. This means that shiny badge quests now aren't the traditional 8 shinies, maybe 13 if you get a shiny for each Elite Four member, including the champion. To truly complete a badge quest in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you need to get 18 shiny Pokemon. 18. But who would be crazy enough to do this? Well, me. And this is the video of how I did it. And just like that, we're ready to go. So we start our adventure by quickly customizing our character. Then we go ahead, meet our mom, meet Professor Clavel, who for some reason comes to our house uninvited. Then we get introduced to the 3 new starter Pokemon of this generation. We then go ahead and choose Sprigatito as our starter. Now this doesn't really matter because it's not shiny, so we can't use it obviously. Then we go ahead and change outfits into just one that I think looks a little better. We quickly defeat Nemona, as it was a really easy battle because she chose Quaxley. Then we catch the required Lechonk, and after surviving a 100-foot fall somehow, some way, we go ahead and we meet Miraidon, the legendary of this game, give them a quick sandwich, and we become best friends. So we get saved from this cave, from a bunch of Houndoom, and we finally meet Arven. Now, Arven here challenges us to a battle, and after we quickly beat him, he gives us the Pokeball to the legendary Pokemon, just the strongest Pokemon in the game. And really quickly before we go on, I just want to explain this in the top right. Now, if you see this Pokeball with the number there, that is just going to be our overworld encounters, the traditional 1 in 40-96 chances. I just want to keep a count of the amount of Pokemon that we see, but in between shinies, so that's what that is. Just wanted to give a really quick explanation. Anyways, back to the story. We are immediately challenged by Nemona right before we get into the town of the school, and after we defeat her, we are introduced to Penny, save her from some Team Star grunts, and finally get into the school. And we are introduced to this game's performance, and then right afterwards, we start the Path of Legends, and immediately after that, we go ahead and start Operation Starfall, immediately followed by Victory Road. Now we have the 3 paths, and we are finally set free into the world. And just like that, we are finally able to shiny hunt. Now, my original plan was going to be to go for outbreaks, but the fact is they were a little difficult to get to. So after that, we decided to go for overworld encounters instead, and after 906 overworld encounters, we found this. Oh my god. There it fucking is. Let's go! Let's go! Shiny! This is also a shiny I've ever had before! Oh, thank God! I don't know how long this exactly took, but after 906 overworld encounters, about 25% to odds almost. I got it in one Great Ball. Thank God! We can go to the first badge! 1 of 18! 1 of 18. Let's go! And just like that, we were able to go to the first gym badge. But, as previously stated, there are 18 different badges in this game. To break that down a little bit further, there are the traditional 8 gym badges, then the 5 titans, each rewarding you with a badge, as well as Operation Starfall bases, which total another 5 badges. Given that the shiny badge quest, we can only do one of these things for each shiny that we get. And given that this game is pretty much fully open world, we can tackle these in any order that we choose. Now, given that each Titan gives you a buff from Miraidon after defeating them, and that each gym badge gives you an increased level cap, along with additional benefits in the game, I think that it's safe to say that, as of now, Operation Starfall is just pointless. There's no benefit for completing these bases, so I decided to save these 5 badges for last. The first badge that we did go for was the Stonecliff Titan Cloth. This was because not only is it the easiest Titan to beat, especially with a grass Pokemon, but by completing this Titan, we get the dash ability on Miraidon, allowing us to move across the world faster, effectively allowing us to see more unique Pokemon, so we can get more unique shinies. And as previously stated, this Titan battle wasn't too tough at all. We were able to just use a couple of bullet seeds and eventually take down the Cloth to the red, where it activated its second phase. Now, all these second phases of the Titans are pretty much the same. You get them really weak, then they run away, they break open some sort of cave wherever they are, take some PEDs, better known as the Herba Mystica of the game, and Arven comes along and tries to help us for the second phase of the challenge. And just like the first part, with a few bullet seeds along with a few water guns from Arven and Shelter, we were able to take down Cloth. It was a pretty easy battle, it wasn't really anything too challenging, and afterwards we were able to feed Miraidon the sandwich with the Herba Mystica, and we finally gained the dash ability, successfully completing the first gym badge. Now, with that out of the way, we can immediately go right into shiny hunting once again, as there's no story stuff blocking us, so we immediately go into our next hunt. Now, our next shiny was actually an evolution from our Hoppip to Skiploom. This was a pretty nice shiny, and I figured I'd throw it in there so you guys weren't confused where I just got the Skiploom from, but this happened in the middle of our hunt. Now, one important thing to note here that I haven't gone over beforehand are the shiny odds of the game. Originally, the shiny odds are 1 in 4096, but there's a new method, sort of, called the Mass Outbreak method. Originally introduced in Legends Arceus, but it works a little bit differently in this game. Now, as you can see from this chart, the Mass Outbreaks give you shiny boosted odds based on the amount of Pokemon that you've cleared from the outbreaks. After you've cleared 30 Pokemon from the outbreak, your shiny chances are doubled, going from 1 in 4096 to 1 in 2048. Now, that is already insanely good, but we can increase that even more by clearing 60 Pokemon in the outbreak, giving us 1 extra shiny roll, making our odds 1 in 1366 if you round up, just a little bit lower. Now, we can go one step further. Now, this method doesn't really give us any extra shiny rolls, as 1 in 1366 the lowest that you can get your odds without beating the game first, but you can do something called the picnic method in order to reset the Pokemon spawns. What this is just placing on a picnic, then packing it up immediately, which completely resets the Pokemon in the outbreak. This allows you to see even more of the outbreak Pokemon, seemingly increasing your shiny chances. So, that's what we did for this Flittle spawn. We just did the picnic method while having 62 Pokemon defeated in the outbreak, giving us the 1 in 1366 chance. And with only about an hour and a half going by since we've completed the Stony Cliff Titan and started this hunt, we finally found this. I was about to reset, and I barely saw it. Oh my god, I would have cried if I noticed that a second later. Holy shit. Let's go! We got our second shiny and it's a Flittle! Another Pokemon I've never had before! Let's go! We got it! Let's go! Shiny Flittle! Whew! 2 down. 16 more to go. Gosh. After catching that shiny Flittle, I decided to face the Bug Gym next. This is because I was honestly struggling to take down 60 Pokemon in a lot of the outbreaks, as all of the higher level Pokemon wouldn't obey me, even in Let's Go mode, so I wanted to increase our level cap by taking on this gym. Before every gym battle in this game, you have to complete a gym test. This was introduced in Sword and Shield, but these challenges are a little different, and some are actually fun, like this one. Essentially, all this is hitting an olive into a goal after completing a little obstacle course with the olive, and to be honest, this was just Rocket League, but it was really simple, so we were able to complete it after really not much time at all, and we were able to take on the leader. Now, this is a Bug-type gym leader, and we already have a Flying type on our team in Skiploom, so most of this was pretty easy. I won't bore you with the entire battle, but just know that we were a bit over-leveled anyways and had the type advantage, so it really didn't take that long. Now, with that out of the way, our level cap has increased to level 25, meaning that if any Pokemon I caught was below level 25, then they will now obey us. Even if we level them past level 25, that's just how the level cap works in this game. And with that, we can now start our next hunt. Now this is a significant change to the pace of this video. We had gotten 2 shinies pretty quickly, and I understand that I was lucky in those 2 shinies, and I was very grateful for that. But this hunt right here, it made me want to quit this challenge so many times. Now, to put into reference how lucky I was in my first 2 hunts compared to this hunt, my past 2 hunts took maybe around 3 hours combined for the 2 shiny Pokemon, which, in all honesty, is very good. Now, this hunt was cruel. This hunt totaled 11 hours. 11 hours. That is almost 4 times longer than my previous 2 hunts combined. Now, I know I was lucky earlier, but I don't feel like I deserved this as a punishment. I went over odds on 3 different outbreaks, all 3 where I saw over 2,000 Pokemon each, and that's not an exaggeration. That is just the genuine number based on the amount of picnic resets I had and 15 Pokemon spawning per picnic reset, and it was so draining. Now, my first hunt was Magnemite, and I was honestly pretty excited for the shiny. I wanted the gold Magnemite and to just see it in this game because I think its new form looks really good, but unfortunately we did not get that here, as there were many, many more hunts to come. Now, keep in mind I did a bunch of smaller hunts like this Scatterbug, but after about 30 minutes I decided to give up on these hunts as I was not too ecstatic to get any of these shinies, so I won't be highlighting them, but know that there were a few of these, which adds up to a total of 11 hours. Now, my next major hunt was Rufflet, and the bad thing about these is that Rufflet's feathers don't change between the shiny and the regular forms, and the only noticeable difference is between its body, and it's pretty hard to see at times, especially in the desert where this outbreak was located. So throughout most of this hunt, I had to use the Switch's zoom feature to get a look at every one of them without having to go up to it individually, which did overall save me a little bit of time, but in total this made time between picnic resets a few seconds longer than if I just looked at them normally, and because I did this for about 4 hours, this really did start to add up pretty quickly. After these 4 hours, I decided to go looking for a new Pokemon, but not because I didn't want Rufflet. I still think that Braviary is a pretty cool shiny, but because some new information about outbreaks had come out. For a while, the logic was that new outbreaks were random, and that there were very little that the user could do in order to influence the Pokemon that appeared in these outbreaks. However, new information about outbreaks came out that stated that where you are on the map influences the outbreaks. To quickly explain this, Pokemon have set spawn locations, and if you are in the area of a Pokemon's habitat, there is an increased chance that you will get that Pokemon to appear in your outbreaks. And since you can just change your Switch's time to reset these outbreaks, you can theoretically just sit in a location and wait for a specific Pokemon to appear in an outbreak, as long as they're within the outbreak pool, which there's a list on Cerebi. If you care to go ahead and look at it, it'll be in the description. My original plan was to go ahead and catch Eevee. I have been shiny hunting for a little over a year now, and Eevee was a Pokemon that I've always wanted. I think that the white shiny for Eevee is amazing, and I've never actually been able to get a shiny Eevee other than a Pokemon Go event. So I caught an Eevee to register in my deck so that its icon would appear on my map for the outbreaks, and started hunting for an Eevee outbreak. But what I got was actually something a little different. I ended up finding a Rockruff outbreak, another shiny that I've wanted since I knew it was going to be in this game. So I decided to start hunting for Rockruff, and finally, after another 4 hours and 11 hours in total, we finally got this. Update. So I wasn't doing it wrong at all, actually. I was doing it perfectly right. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god, look at it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh my god. Oh, I wanted this shiny specifically since Gen 7. But let alone this hunt took so long. I'm gonna cry. It's so pretty. It's finally over. It's finally over. Oh my god. I think you could tell how relieved I was to finally get that shiny, and I was honestly just glad that the hunt was over. We then evolved the Rockruff that we got with some of the candies that I had acquired from doing raid dens, and also evolved our Flittle. This new shiny obviously meant that we could now go and get another badge. I decided that since I was able to clear most outbreaks with the mons that we currently had, and level cap wasn't really bothering us anymore, I decided to take on another Titan, specifically the Open Sky Titan Bombardier. This is because now that we have a rock type Pokemon that can take care of this Titan easily, and the fact that the Titans give us the ability to swim after completing it, this is a very valuable badge to go for. This will allow us to do water mouse outbreaks that we could not do beforehand, so we went ahead and decided to challenge it. After a single rock tomb in the first phase, Bombardier's second phase was activated, where another Terra Rock tomb was able to one-shot it and defeat it. And just like that, another Titan was out of the way. And with that Titan down, Arvin was able to make us another sandwich that we gave to Miraidon, allowing us to now swim. And with that, that's going to wrap up this video. I know that typically people do this in one part and the video is super long, but after that massive hunt for Rockruff, I decided to take a little break and upload this into multiple parts. I hope that the video is easier to watch broken down into smaller parts, but if not, then stay tuned, because once this is all over, I will be making a supercut of the entire thing, so stick around for that. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.